My name is Dan Keller, and I am the elementary principal at Saigon South International School. Welcome to the Curriculum Night for the 2020-2021 school year. This year, our Curriculum Night is being delivered virtually, and we're glad that you've joined us. Our school year is off to a great start. Currently, I'm broadcasting from my office, and in the background, behind the windows, you may see there are some children out on the playground enjoying the opportunity to play in the great outdoors. Children have met their teachers, they've been spending time in classes, and they've been starting in on their curriculum. It's a great start to the school year. But often from our teacher's point of view, the school year really begins once we have finished Curriculum Night, because then we know that we have explained to the parents what the curriculum will be for the school year, and then everybody is all on board with what the plans are for the new school year. This year, our Curriculum Night has two main parts. The first is a collection of videos, 3 videos. The first is a video from me, this one. A second would be a video presentation from your child's specialist teachers so that you can get to know who they are and what those specialist programs are. And then third, a presentation, lengthy one, from your child's homeroom teacher, giving an overview of that grade level's curriculum for the school year. The second part of our virtual Curriculum Night is a follow-up one-to-one short video conference with the teachers, the homeroom teachers. Your homeroom teacher will reach out to you and schedule that, and you'll have a short amount of time to get to know them a bit and help them get to know your child and for them to meet you as well. So let's begin with a principal presentation now. Welcome to the Curriculum Night for the 2020-2021 school year. This is for the elementary school. Our agenda for this evening will be addressing 5 key topics: understanding our current challenge, 3 paths, remote learning, virtual school, and introducing our new faculty. I would like to begin with this Japanese block print that I shared with our elementary staff earlier this year, where I pointed out that we had 3 things to keep in mind. We are all facing the current challenges related to COVID-19 pandemic around the world, and particularly in Vietnam and the government restrictions that we are working within. And we need to keep in mind our permanent mission of our school about preparing students to live a purposeful life as a global citizen. And we need to remember to all work together as a team during these challenging times with students and parents and school all working together to help our children continue to succeed. Another idea I'd like to introduce is that we have one program, but 3 different modes. And these 3 different modes are the campus mode, the remote mode, and the virtual mode. Let me explain a little bit about what we mean by that. When students are permitted to come to school for physical schooling, the first mode is our campus mode, where the program is delivered by the classroom teacher and the teaching assistant. And in that mode, the students are at school. During physical schooling, there's another mode that may occur, and this is remote school or remote learning. And this is for the few students who may be under quarantine or can't come back into the country. And in their situation, we also have a remote learning support teacher who helps. And this is for those just few students who are under quarantine or out of the country. And then we have a third mode, which is if no students are permitted to come to the school campus, we provide virtual school. And again, the classroom teacher and the teaching assistant take lead, and all of the students access the curriculum remotely. Another way to think about these three modes is through this diagram. This is a contour map of a mountain, and this is the peak of the mountain. This is where we are going, and this is where we are starting off. The first path is the campus path. This is when physical school is in session, and this is what we're most used to. For the few students who cannot be here physically, we then have a remote path, which follows very similarly to the campus path. But there's also a third path that we may need to take at some point, which is the virtual school path, and notice how different that is. We also need to remember that if, due to government restrictions, we need to go from the physical school path over to the virtual path, it takes some time to go from one mode to the other. And then, later on, the government might allow us to come back to our preferred campus path. Whenever we switch from one mode to another, there will be a transition day as we go from one mode to the other, so that students, families, and teachers can all transition accordingly. Now, on to remote learning. Who is it for? For students who are unable to return to Vietnam at this time and seeking an educational experience until they can return. And if a child is attending full-time school in another country, they should notify us and we can modify our remote learning service. Remote learning is also for students who are in Vietnam, but may be currently in home quarantine. I want to point out that remote learning is not an option where people can choose to prefer that over physical school. Physical on-campus school is the primary mode of how we deliver our program, and the remote learning support service is a temporary service for these unusual times. If you are in that situation, we want to point out to people that we do have the remote learning support teacher who serves as the primary liaison or communicator, and along with the counselor, helps connect students, parents, and teachers to the class and to the school, so everyone is staying connected. Now, let's talk about virtual school for a second. We know that it's possible that virtual school may happen this year. Virtual school continues our SSIS mission statement and core values when students are not permitted to be on campus. And our school has spent quite a bit of time reflecting on last year's virtual school and looking at the feedback from parents and students and staff to develop the following design principles. Number one, as always, ensure academic excellence. Number two, embed intentional transitions. 3, articulate a clear, sustainable expectation for all the different roles that people are in. Make sure that we, number 4, implement it with consistency. Number 5, continue to focus on the whole child. 6, maintain a sense of community. And just like last year, during virtual school, we will have 3 levels of assignments. Some assignments will be required, some will be recommended, and some are there just for enrichment. But there is a difference this year. This year, in virtual school, all subjects, including specialists, will have assignments at all 3 of these levels. So specialists will have some required assignments for students. Similar to last year, we have general expectations for how much time a student will spend in virtual school, and in particular, how much time they will spend on required assignments versus optional versus enrichment. But one thing we also learned from last year is that parents wanted to also pay attention to how much are students doing with online, live, synchronous Google Meets with teachers versus how much are students working more independently or asynchronously. Therefore, we've taken these 3 levels and we've said that roughly half would not. So this pie graph shows how half of their day on the left side of the circle would be asynchronous, where they would not be doing live Google Meets. Some of it would be required, some of it would be optional, some of it would be enrichment. And on the right hand of the circle, it shows how much of a student's time would be doing live Google Meets, required and optional and enrichment. So in general, your child should be spending no more than 50% of their time doing live Google Meets with staff members. Next, I would like to introduce a number of new staff members to our school. First, we have an interim assistant principal. This is Melanie Sylvester. She was a grade 4 teacher at our school last year, and we are very pleased to promote her to the interim assistant principal position in our elementary division. Next, Valerie Van Elswick as an EAL teacher to our school with kindergarten students. I will give you the update status on every one of these new employees because it has been quite a process to get them into Vietnam at this time. I'm happy to report that Valerie is here on campus now working with students. We would also like to welcome Elena Anello, classroom teacher in kindergarten, to our school. Elena is finishing her quarantine in Vietnam. We currently have a substitute in class. She will be working with students shortly here at school. We would also like to welcome Noelle Vasquez, homeroom teacher in grade 1. Noelle is currently on campus working directly with our students. And we would like to welcome Tiffany Filter to our faculty, homeroom teacher in grade 1. We are awaiting her arrival in Vietnam. We currently have a substitute teacher in class for her. We would like to welcome Brianna Spencer to our faculty, homeroom teacher in grade 2. We're pleased to announce that she is on campus currently working with students. And we would also like to welcome Thomas Potter, EAL teacher, to grade 5. He is currently finishing his quarantine in Vietnam and will be working with students shortly. We currently have a substitute in his class. We would like to welcome Nick Stonehouse, a visual arts teacher working with students in grades 1 and 2. Nick is on campus working directly with students already, as is Elisa Blunden, who we would like to welcome also as a visual arts teacher, working with grades 3, 4, and 5. She is also on campus doing direct service with students. And we would like to also welcome Peter Minaj, music teacher in grades 1 and 2. He is currently on campus working with students. So from the teachers, you are now also receiving a video from the homeroom teachers as well as a video from your child's specialist teachers. And then homeroom teachers will follow up with a one-on-one meeting with parents. You'll have 10 to 15 minutes to have a discussion with your child's homeroom teacher, and that will take place over the next 2 to 3 weeks. That will be scheduled by your classroom teacher, and the times may vary between grades and even between teachers. The purposes for these short conversations are simply for the parents to get to know the teacher and for the teacher to get to know the parents, and for parents to help the teacher get to know their child a little bit better. These discussions are not intended to be a progress report on the child's academic progress, as it is too early in the school year to be able to give any kind of accurate assessment data. So to review, this presentation has tried to help our school community understand the current challenges we all face and the 3 distinct paths that we may use to deliver our program. I went into a little bit of detail about the remote learning support services, as well as what virtual school would be like this year and how it has been improved. And then we introduced the new faculty joining our school, as well as explaining what some of the next steps are in our virtual curriculum night from the classroom teachers. And so to remind everybody, we know that we're all facing current challenges, but as a school community, we want to keep our mission statement in mind about helping our students become living a purposeful life as a global citizen. And the way we're going to do that is through teamwork with parents and students and teachers all working together. Thank you very much. And now I hope you enjoy the other two videos.